Hello, love, and sorry for the delay. Yesterday got away from me. It is 7:40 in the morning. It feels and sounds like 7:40 in the morning, but I thought this was a good time to come in here and do the reveals. Although they are only going to be on audio, I will include a picture for you to take a look at as I go through these messages. So pick a pile number 1. The first card is your path. And this mantra on the card, I love. It's beautiful. It says, help me trust that there's a plan far beyond what I can see through my fears and illusions. Here is what I feel is happening for you is you're at a point in your life, or well, let me rephrase this because I'm hearing that there's going to be a group, right? So some of you are at different phases, but we're at this pivotal point. We have been sent here with a divine plan. I say this all the time. If you have ever heard any of my readings in the past, you know that I always say this. It's in divine time. It's not in our own time. The human wants to be in control. We want to control the outcome, control the journey, right? We all have this plan that we come here with. And what is happening is you may be sensing a little bit of anxieties, frustrations, uncertainties, even excitement, right? Because we just aren't sure what comes next. And you are being asked, and okay, thank you so much. And I'm hearing rewarded, asked and rewarded for honoring your own path. What I mean by that, because I'm getting a little sense of like authenticity, but it's a little bit different. Each one of us obviously comes here with our own unique path. It's important to be authentic. It's important to kind of march to the beat of our own drum, right? But there has been a few challenges or experiences that have come up that have really tested you or challenged you to stay true to your heart. And if you stay true to who you are and your heart, I'm also hearing like, you don't need to follow the crowd. You don't need to follow trends. You don't need to do what everyone else is doing. This is very important right now. You're at a pivotal point in your life where you're being asked to trust in yourself, to stay true to yourself, to honor your own divine timeline and plan and path. And because of that, you are being rewarded for doing so. So this is one of those things where it's like the nervous system, the brain, we always try to, I'm hearing the word default, which is, that must be for a certain few of you, but it's like default mode, right? It's like it defaults into the familiar, into what's known. And you know, there's this saying like the nervous system will even choose a familiar hell before an unfamiliar paradise. It's because it feels, it's like I've already figured out my way in this familiarity, right? So it's like getting out of your comfort zone, sure, but this is bigger than that. This is really choosing something bigger for yourself, staying true to your own path and purpose. And you cannot do that if you are continually trying to make other people happy, do what other people expect of you or demand of you or want from you, constantly putting others' needs before your own. This is a big time in your life, and I keep hearing this like pivotal point, for you to really start choosing yourself and your path. If you are struggling with that, if you need support with that, your guides and your angels and your higher self is here to support you. All you need to do is ask. And this mantra on this card, please help me trust that there's a plan far beyond what I can see through my fears and illusions. That is going to take you use that as a prayer, as a mantra, say it every single day, say it when things get difficult. Pause for a moment in silence and just listen and feel what comes up. If it's that you need a sip of water, go take the sip of water. If it's that you need to go for a walk, go take a walk. If it's that, oh yeah, I forgot to text this person, go text that person. Sometimes we think our signs and our guidance is like this, you know, these big epiphanies and aha moments, and they're not always like that. The synchronicities sometimes can be as small as go grab a glass of water, you know, and that trip to the sink, to the glass or to the, you know, water cooler or whatever. things start to happen, energy starts to move. So trusting whatever you're feeling that comes up in that moment. But you are, my friend, on your own unique path. And when you honor that, you are being rewarded for that right now. Okay, that was message number 1. Pile 2 is liberation. And I really love this. I feel, if you are someone who listens to all of the messages, I always feel that there are messages in each pile for every person, which it's always funny how it all kind of comes full circle. Message number 2 is liberation. The doubts and fears still come up, but you don't believe anymore that they're you. Here's what I love about the liberation card. Here you are, thank you so much. I'm hearing it's like step 1 and step 2 from like pile 1, pile 2. Pile 1 was like that pivotal point where you had to trust, right? You had to break past those. You had to liberate yourself. You are now, if you chose pile 2, you're in this phase or stepping into this phase of liberation where you are liberating yourself from these doubts, from these fears, from you keep perceiving something as a failure in your past, and you need to know and hear that you did not fail. Thank you so much. That's very important for a few of you. You needed to hear these words. You did not fail. That was not failure. That was like, there's a thing, it's called redirection for protection. Sometimes God, spirit, source, universe, your angels, call it what you like, they will come in and they will deter you from a path in order to protect you. I'm being reminded of a time that this happened to me, and I won't get too deep into that story, but there was a time I really, really wanted a location. Really, really wanted, I could afford it. It made so much sense. It would have been absolutely perfect. I still to this day think back and I think, gosh, that would have been the absolute best. But something stopped me from getting it. And would you believe that 2 weeks later is when our entire world shut down for 2 to 3 years. And I would have been 2 weeks into a new lease with a business that I could have never opened, no income coming in, and no way to then pay for it. So when we have these situations where we are redirected, it's very important to understand it is not failure. It was no longer serving you. It was to protect you. You needed to be shifted off of that path. Thank you so much. There may have been some like red flags, some things that you were ignoring, right? Some things where it was like you kind of knew you should have shifted gears a little bit before, but you ignored that a little bit. So sometimes what happens is in the tarot deck, we have what's called the Tower. The Tower is like a game of Jenga where you just click that wrong little square or block there and everything comes crashing down. That is kind of how it feels. The Tower moment feels like a crashing down of life, of things around us and situations. So what happened was you had your Tower moment, and now you have liberated yourself from all of the doubts, the fears, what felt like failure, all of that. Through that moment, I'm hearing that they want me to explain the difference between freedom and liberation. So freedom is like the state of being free, right? Like you are free. Liberation is the act of freeing yourself. So here's the difference. You have not quite reached that point of feeling pure freedom, but you're in this liberation phase. You're doing the work. You're taking the big, scary steps. You're not letting the fear stand in your way. You are stretching yourself and expanding beyond your comfort zone. These are all acts of liberation. These are inspired actions that you can take to liberate yourself from those fears, from those doubts, from what feels like failure. As you do that, again, I'm hearing like risk and reward. You're like taking these risks and there's great reward on the other side of this. I feel those of you who chose step 2 or pile 2 are on step 2 of this, where it's like, I've already done it. Now I'm starting to get these little glimpses and these little hits of liberation and freedom. Now I'm starting to see the reward. You're also being asked to notice and pay attention. There are rewards that are coming through. It's like, sometimes it's like you go and you get like a $1 off coupon and people are like, oh geez, it's $1. What's that? That is a form of abundance. And that is a form of abundance circulating to you, right? These are the universe, spirit, God, source rewarding you. So If you are not grateful for that $1 off, why will you be grateful for 1,000, 1 million? Does that make sense? It's like we are the ones that place value on certain things. So when you see something that's $1 versus $1,000 versus 100,000 versus 1 million, all of these things hold the same energy. It's the energy of value, of money. But our human brains want to say, well, that's not enough. It's not enough until it's this. Pay attention to the little rewards that spirit is trying to trickle into your life. Practice gratitude for those because you are already receiving these little rewards. I say it all the time, we sometimes don't realize how well we are provided for and how greatly we are rewarded. It's when we pause for a moment and really reflect on that we can really see it's in these little moments that add up to the very big things. So you're being asked to pause here and really reflect on how you've liberated yourself and pay attention to the rewards that God's Spirit Universe is delivering to you. That is pile number 2 and pile number 3. So pile number 3 is about loss. This card for me this is a huge lesson I had to learn in my life. And I want to be very mindful in how I articulate this message because I'm trying to be mindful I don't want to instill a wound, if that makes sense. For me, when I lost, the greatest loss that I've ever experienced was my dad. It was unexpected. It was very traumatic. It was it was a lot. It was a major loss for me. And when I experienced that loss, I felt myself standing at this fork in the road of this is going to go one of two ways. I'm either going to use this pain and turn it into passion and purpose and do right in the world with this pain, or I'm going to let it just spiral me down and I'm going to hit rock bottom and it's going to crumble and my world is going to fall apart. I'm not going to be able to get back up. And I found myself at this point. From there, I chose the first one. I chose to use this pain and, I went down this path of fully becoming who I am. I was no longer hiding myself. I was no longer dimming my own light. And I share that with you because that is the message here, is that when you experience what feels like a huge loss, and this doesn't have to be a person passing. That was just the greatest loss that I experienced in my life. If this is you, you'll know what these feelings of loss or what you feel that you've lost. You'll know what it is for you. When you look at the message on this card, sometimes you learn true offering through loss. You make a passionate invitation for love to take over and bring her own plan instead of the ego's. This is exactly what happens when you go through this major experience of loss, of an ending of this grief cycle. You find yourself at this fork in the road. You find yourself at that same point that I mentioned here. And I feel that you may be at that point in your life right now with, I'm so sorry because I'm hearing that some of you maybe experienced like a friend breakup. And that's so hard. Sometimes, I'm going to tell you guys, sometimes I feel that the friendship breakups are worse than divorce. They're worse than some like bigger losses that we go through because our best friends, our friends are like, that's our chosen people, And when we go through a situation like that, like a breakup with a close friend, that is a grief that no one really ever prepares you for. And it's one of the hardest. So I am sending you so much love if that is you. And the message for you today is that this loss truly is redirecting you onto a path to choose love of yourself, love of others. This isn't about who was right or wrong anymore. This isn't about, he said, she said, or they did it. It's not about taking the high road. I mean, this is about choosing love in every situation, pausing and asking yourself, how can I choose love in this situation? and going forward that way. And this is going to take a lot of inner work on yourself. I get it. A lot of like having to, I've said this before in a prior reading, it's like having to forgive an apology that you never receive. It's so hard. And I am just sending you so much love if that's you that's going through that, because I know how difficult that can be. And I want you to know that this is changing the trajectory of your life and accelerating you forward if you allow it. For those of you who this has to do with a job or a career or source of income or something like that, again, was this message number 2? Yeah, this is redirection for protection. There is nothing that is going to create failure for you right now. However, you are also being asked to honor your feelings. Thank you so much. This is for anyone who chose this pile. Honoring your feelings. This is not just for those going through the loss of the business or income source. This is honor every feeling that comes up for you. Allow yourself to feel it. It is common to be taught in this like patriarchal conditioning to swallow our emotions, compartmentalize it, and just move on. Here's what I'm going to tell you. This is a very strong message for you to feel what you are feeling. Allow the grief to be processed, the sadness, the anger, the frustration, the it's not fair, all of it, allow it to be processed, because when we don't and we swallow it down and we try to compartmentalize it or we dissociate from a situation, it ends up manifesting and appearing in the physical in other ways. Physical symptoms, illness in the body, outbursts and arguments in other relationships. It spirals us into feelings of lack and scarcity, all of these things. So make sure that if that's you and you're going through this, that you are allowing yourself to process every emotion, every feeling that you've had through this situation, and then you're able to move past it. Once you move through all of these feelings and you're able to move past that, this is where that last line here, it's an invitation for love to take over and bring her own plan instead of the ego's. This is when your true divine plan, like that first card, your path, this is where your authenticity, your heart, your soul comes alive. Sorry if you can hear the dog walking past me and her little clicking and her nails here. This is where that true essence of you begins to come alive. This is where that soul essence is emerged, almost like the phoenix rising from the ashes, right? When you think about that, it's like this is unfortunately that burning point. And fortunately, it allows that phoenix to rise up from those ashes and experience something bigger, something greater, something more expansive. Again, whether this is career, whether this is a friendship, whether this is, and it's important to know that like loss is not just a physical person or a physical thing. We can experience these emotions of grief and loss in many different ways. So if that is you and this is the situation that you find yourself in, allowing yourself to feel these feelings in order to liberate yourself and get to your path. See how I say these messages sometimes come full circle? Okay, my house is coming alive now. Yeah, I tried to do this early before everyone was up and moving, but the dog's moving around, the door's opening and closing, so I am going to close this out here. Thank you so much to everyone who participated in the Pick-a-Pile. If you are interested in a private reading, I am booked through the end of April already. I am booking into about the middle of May. Solstice is coming up in June. We are going to have some solstice readings. It's going to be a specialty reading. I'm very excited about that. Watch for that to come. Go ahead over to my profile on Instagram or Facebook and click follow or subscribe, or you can join my channel on Instagram too. I'm not super active in there, but when I do these specialty readings and things like this, I'll drop it in there. I try not to spam your inboxes, so I'm not super active in those, but it's a great way to follow along so that you don't miss out. I love doing these Pick-a-Pile readings because I understand a couple of different things. One is not everybody is sure about my style of readings, and I want everyone to feel safe Know that there is nothing to be afraid of with a reading with me. I do what is called Oracle Soul readings. I connect in with your guides, my guides, our higher selves, and we bring messages of hope, healing, wisdom, and faith and direction on your path forward. We're not here to bring up any dark moments, although I do believe shadow work and shadow healing is essential. That's not what we do in a reading. That's what we do in coaching and programs. So my readings are very light, very positive, very forward focused and feeling. And it's really here to bring you that validation, to bring you guidance, and everything that you need to hear and receive to move forward in your divine path. So thank you so much. It also allows me to just give back, thank you to everyone who has purchased readings from me, because your support of my small business as a healer and reader and intuitive allows me to freely give in other ways as well, such as this. So thank you so much. I'm sending you all so much love, and I will talk to you again soon.